We'll call the March 12th council meeting to order. Chief Hunt.
Give the invocation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for everyone that's gathered here tonight, Lord. We just ask that you watch over this meeting. We ask that you watch over those that are dealing with any issues tonight, Lord, that's on their heart, Lord. We just ask that you comfort them. Lord, we ask that you watch over those that are watching over us every single day and night. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Yes, Your Honor. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Enzer,
Present.
Taylor,
Present.
Blankenship.
Here.
Armstrong.
Here.
Blair,
Present.
Heckmaster,
Present.
Hole,
Here.
Snow,
Present.
Eliff,
Here.
Causey.
Here.
Move on to reading and consideration of minutes from previous meeting. Mr. Ellis.
Your Honor, I move that we approve the minutes of February 27th, 2024, both the regular and the closed session minutes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the February 22nd meeting. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Move on to presentations.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. My name is Leanna Canfield, and I'm the Executive Director of Richmond Carthage. I'm here today to just share a little bit about what we've been doing. And first, I wanted to share our mission with you in case any of you don't know exactly what we do. At Richmond Carthage, our mission is to enhance the community by supporting local businesses, specifically in the downtown historic district, and driving the revitalization and beautification of Carthage. So we have various projects and initiatives that we do to try to drive those goals. So over the last few months, we have launched a grant assistance program. So we are partnering with the CEDC, and we have already met with local nonprofits. We're helping them with grant research and applying for grants. We recently, this is kind of exciting news, so we recently had a feasibility study performed by Place in Maine on our organization, and that was done to determine if we could start a property revitalization program, which is basically a program where you use different strategies to preserve historic buildings. And the results came back showing that we are approved to apply for funds to start a property revitalization program. So we're really excited about what the future will hold with that. We've also still been working on our facade improvement program. And if you don't know what that is, we offer a 50-50 match for businesses in our downtown historic district who are trying to do facade improvements. And we're actually getting ready to start a new one. I'm not announcing it just yet because we're still working on some of the details, but we're really excited to be helping out the local businesses in town. As far as art goes, so this is part of our beautification. We just finished the Greg Spark mural. I don't know if anyone has seen that, but it looks really great. And we will be having a celebration soon that we will announce. We have also started on the Maple Leaf roundabout sculpture. It is in the works, and it is being created by a local artist, Rachel Wilson. And we have also secured grant funds to redo one of the murals or ghost signs in our downtown. And we're trying to decide right now which one we will work on next. Promoting downtown Carthage remains a top priority for our organization. We recently paid a company to do a social media campaign trying to drive business to our downtown. We are also doing social media advertising and then radio and news as well. A few of our upcoming events. This is kind of exciting. We have a couple of new events this year. One of them is the Vintage Vegas Casino Night, and that is a fundraiser for our organization. It is in April, and we are going to have gaming tables, plus bingo, drawing prizes. We're gonna have a live auction for a custom poker table. So that should be a really fun night. And we are also planning a Garden and Bloom garden tour. So you will be able to buy tickets to go to 5 or more gardens here in Carthage. And we really just want to promote the beautification of Carthage, and so this is one of the ways that we're hoping to do that. We'll also have vendors and a special lunch with that garden tour. And we're already working on plantings, so we will be starting the plantings in April for downtown. And we're looking forward to Restoration Carthage, Garden and Bloom Awards, and lots of other exciting projects. So that is all I have. I tried to rush through it. Do you guys have any questions?
Leanne, what's the date for the casino night?
Saturday, April 27th. We'd love to have you. And you can find any of that information on our website or on social media as well.
Thank you, Leanne. All right, we'll move on to public comments. Anyone wishing to address the council, step to the podium, state your name and address and your business, and please contain your comments to 5 minutes or less.
Hi, my name is Tammy Hole, and I was living out here on 7686 State Highway 96, and I come upon, I got something in my thumb. I've been to 15 doctors, I've been ridiculed and stuff, but I finally figured out on my own what it is, and it's a plant, and I've got I'm sorry, I'm so nervous. I've got a paper with it all on it, if you don't mind. I tried to do it as best I could, you know what I mean, so. And I left one out, but it is called water hemlock, and it is one of the most, I'm so sorry, I didn't expect to get this nervous as soon as it's one of the most deadliest plants there is, to regroup, and it can distort the body and violent convulsions, grinding and clamping of the teeth, and death occurs, paralysis, whatever, paralysis, whatever, respiratory failure. And a lot of these, they're respiratory failure. What is COVID? Respiratory failure. I'm sorry, I'm shaking so bad. And then there's these hemlocks, and it mixed with what they call, and I didn't have that paper out of that book, mixed with what they called snakeroot grass. And it was known to affect, Lord, I didn't expect to get this nervous, you guys. But it was known to infect milk cows or dairy cows, and thus gave it to the kids through the milk. And I was going through some really hard things, and, you know, I've been begging God, you know, because I about lost my son. And I found faith in God again, because my son's still here. And he has showed me something. I mean, that's the only one I can give credit for what I found out there with this grass. And I took a sample of it because I found a piece of it which was still alive. And they are actually, what comes from this snakeroot grass is actually little hair-like snakes. But I caught one and put it in a jar, you know, to take to USDA and stuff, and I forgot about it. It was in my truck for like 2 years. When I found it again, it took me 4 times looking in this jar. And when I seen it, I know it meant something. Well, when I was looking, and there was this light in the tree, and they're out there all over outside here. And down by the creek, I don't know what they are, and I know it makes me sound a little nutty, but I know what I'm talking about, and they're caused by these plants. But I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
Just take your time, sweetheart.
I am so nervous. I've been to the MU Extension. I've been to all the conservation departments. I went to Kansas, all the way to Kansas City, Kansas. I've been to Oklahoma City, you know, and seen it all. But what I pulled out of my thumb in a piece of cotton was this grass stuff, like roots. I don't know, I can't explain it. And what came off of that cotton was a bright red hue. The scientists say that the moon is going to be blood red by a certain year. And this stuff goes straight up to the sky, and it's caused from this hemlock. And it's mixed with this grass. And I have been screaming for 3 years to be heard, to get someone to listen. I finally got on TikTok and people started listening to me. And yesterday I was driving through Seneca and I said, I'm gonna call and see when the next town meeting is in Carthage. I'm gonna go. And they said tomorrow night at 6:30 and here I am. But I'm gonna leave these with you because I feel like I'm about to have a nervous breakdown.
Sure, no, that's fine.
I'm shaking so bad, but all of these plants, they cause respiratory failure. And that is what COVID is, and any of it, you know, it can cause, I think this is cancers. I caught what, this is it, and I'll shut up. But the snake root grass, it's a, if you look at it, it looks like it's twined. It's braided like, you know, it's a weird looking, they even make a sound when you put them in a jar, you know, because unfortunately, I didn't have this book yet when I was messing with them. But I knew it was them, but I didn't know, you know. And I'm a very, I don't know, I like that. And, you know, if you get more people to listen, and I figured this, and I think I have, and now I'm stammering. But if somebody can, I mean, one should look at this and look at it a little bit. If I could leave my number.
Yep. Be glad to.
Somebody can give me a call.
Yep.
Give me a pen.
Sure.
And I'll just wait for my big flash card here.
No, you're fine.
My dad was a preacher. We used to have to sing him from church. Yeah, if somebody can give me a call, I mean, because
Yep.
there's a lot more I know on it, and they've caught on it, and, you know, I mean, it's amazing, actually, but it needs to be stopped now. It needed to be stopped last week. It is a festering thing, you know, it's so bad. And it's not fair. There's a little store beside it called Circle E, and this, I promise I'm shutting up. But there's a little store called Circle E, you know. A bunch of people come from miles just to go to that store to get, you know, dry goods and crap like that, you know. Overpay for it if you ask me. But it's everywhere out there, you know, and people deserve this. I went in every, anytime I see it around the store, you know, like the little Dollar Generals, because they're out everywhere. And I see it, you know, and I'm not getting nowhere talking to some people, you know, and if I can get help making this publicly, you know, I mean, we could save a lot of people, you guys, and this could change a lot of things. And I thank you guys for your time. I'm shutting up.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And I promise it's short. It's a book called Dangerous Plants by John Campion. It's Tampion. And pages 63 and 64 is missing, so can make 10 more days. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chuck.
Yeah. Chuck Bryant, General Manager, Carthage Water and Electric. I wanted to briefly give you an update on the Dogwood Energy Station and process there about a year ago, actually. I think maybe this month, a year ago. I brought to the council our ability to get into the Dogwood facility as our current baseload power supply begins to have its end of life. And that originally, that process was to take place in 2026. So basically, we had about a 3-year heads up. That availability of the energy for that facility has now, as of last month, and this world moves fairly quickly, is becoming available this summer. And we have worked with our electric commission just last week, got the resolutions passed to move forward. The commission has a large portion of it, and as you remember, Carthage Water and Electric has a portion as well, 25 megawatts. What it looks like is going to happen, and once we get some additional documentation next week at the utility board meeting, then we will bring a resolution before the council. But I want to give you the heads up today that it appears what's going to happen is that Evergy is going to take the capacity. They are the owners of the energy and capacity today off of that facility, or one of them. They're going to keep that energy, they're going to keep that capacity and make available the energy, which will allow us, CWEP, to take that energy now and put it into the market where there has been significant margins to this point in time, and utilize the sales of that energy to offset future costs in that facility. It's a really good opportunity for us to get ahead of this 2 years in advance. And then in 26th, we will see the capacity availability become what it was, what we had originally planned. So the folks at Evergy will be utilizing the capacity for 2 years. And we can go into a long story of energy versus capacity. But basically, how this is going to shape up, what we expect to see, is that we'll get the energy availability off of that facility for now until 26. Evergy will take the capacity off of that facility from now until 26, and then 26 will roll right into what you had expected to see from us when we brought it to you last year. These things happen for a myriad of reasons. Evergy could have found a great opportunity somewhere else. They have a lot of clean energy requirements as well. So moving out of a natural gas, a dual cycle natural gas facility is not uncommon. And they really don't have to give us a reason as to why they no longer want it. But it's a very good business decision for us to move forward. Again, our board meets next week. We'll have more details as that meeting concludes, and then we'll present to you most likely for the second meeting in this month and the first meeting in April, 2 readings that gets us put into a contract to receive the energy off of that facility starting in 24 versus 26. So, any questions?
So what you're looking at is this is nothing but a win-win for Carthage Water and Electric and the city of Carthage, is what you're telling me.
Well, we always hope that in this world. Now, honestly, Mr. Taylor,
I know everything.
There was a time where there was a win-win. The energy market in today's world is not always a win-win. This is a great opportunity.
Yes, we will be better off than we are now.
Yes, sir. What we'll have the opportunity to do is take that energy and leave it into the market up in the Kansas City area where it has been sold now for years. And then we are the owner of that energy, and we get to take the benefit of the sales of that energy, along with the Missouri Electric Utility Commission that has their energy up there as well. So it's a great opportunity for us to offset to have some current sales against future costs. I hedge against always win-win, but let's hope that is the case. Any other questions?
Thanks, Jack.
I'll be back to you in a couple
sir.
weeks. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it.
Good evening. I'm Derek Peterson. I reside at 1141 Sheila Ann Drive. I came tonight because I have some concerns related to the fiscal responsibility of our current council, and I'll use a couple of examples. Starting with Rock Stadium, through stakeholder meetings, community engagement meetings, and statistically valid survey work, the Park Master Plan recognized that the community's consensus was to keep Rock Stadium and to repurpose the field area for a more useful recreational need identified by the community. Essentially, keep the historical identity but not play baseball there. The baseball community said they don't want to play there. The R9 said we will be building them their own facility. Contrary to a comment Park Director Almendinger made at a previous council meeting, the guidance from the master plan through community engagement was to repurpose Rock Stadium, not demolish it. There's a lot of documentation supporting that. So now we have a baseball field without Rock Stadium, the opposite of our overall community desire. Some political realities came into play for that to happen rather than what was best for citizens. The city has paid over $400,000 to prepare Carl Luton's field area for 1 year of R9 baseball. You know, really? That $400,000 could have been used for many other projects recognized by citizens in the park's master plan. I hope Carl Luton Field has a long-term plan for a cost recovery component. This work was not fiscally responsible, in my opinion. Tax revenues going to the city of Carthage are not intended to be used for Carthage R9 programming and services. And thus, I want to avoid a similar pattern happening with the new aquatic center. There's no doubt that Carthage needs a new aquatic center. The scale of a new aquatic center is the real question. At the February 29th Public Services Committee, there was a unanimous vote to pursue a pool concept that would cost at most $15.5 million. Tonight, there's a resolution for the City Council to express strong support for the construction of a new pool facility, to authorize the city administration, the parks, to actively pursue grant funding opportunities to finance the construction of the new pool facility with a project cost not to exceed $15.5 million, to direct city administration, the parks, to collaborate with relevant departments, agencies, and stakeholders to prepare and submit comprehensive grant applications. The council commits to supporting the city administration in their efforts to secure grant funding for the new pool facility and specifically identify the McCune Brooks Hospital Trust as one of the key sources from which funding will be sought for construction of the new pool facility. First, the recent pool survey, which was described as a community survey, would be considered a stakeholder survey. 98% of respondents use an outdoor pool. A stakeholder survey is just one part of the decision-making process. A project of this scale has to include an analysis of how it affects overall city resources. Now, second, what other data supports the need to secure funding now? A feasibility study is needed to determine who will support the facility. Can current users afford the fee structure? A feasibility study, business plan, and marketing plan must be completed before seeking funding. Without this, a bank won't provide funding to start your business. Treat your grant providers as the bank. A regional aquatic center is a business, and I feel we need to treat it like that. Now, third, what information do you have about this commitment, how this commitment will impact other park improvements? A pool is needed, no doubt. The park's master plan recommended building a community pool with lap lanes, which is estimated to cost $6 to $7 million. I'm pointing out the overall components needed for the city to be fiscally responsible in using tax revenues. The McCune Brooks Regional Hospital Trust would be a good funding source. As the City Council has final approval for that, the same analysis should be used. Will you give the money without better information? Let's elevate decision-making and take out agenda-driven spending. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and Carthage citizens. Haven't been here for a couple of meetings, and I've missed y'all. So my first question tonight is, Mayor Reif, I'm still waiting for the minutes of the hiring committee that you told me you'd send me 2 months ago. Have you found those?
Bill, the minutes for the hiring committee that you've got are the minutes that are available. That's the minutes that are there.
Okay, that's what I was afraid of.
Yep.
Okay, this evening I really wanted to talk about something entirely different. And some folks have accused me of being somewhat of a Carthage historian. And while I certainly am not in the category of Marvin Van Gilder or his predecessor Ward Schrantz, I do admit to a fascination with history and a belief in the old adage that those who understand history will be less likely to repeat things that didn't work. I am particularly attracted to Carthage history, I suppose, as my ancestors came here in 1868 as the new city was being rebuilt after the Civil War. My grandfather said repeatedly that the best part of any trip that he took was coming home to Carthage, and I heartily agree with that statement. Now, I know there's been some mentions on Facebook about where is the home rule charter of the city of Carthage. Well, here it is. I keep a lot of things, and this is such an early edition that it doesn't have all the typos corrected in it yet. But I've had that in my file for these many years, and I wanted to say a little bit about the history of our charter form of government. So there was a change in the Missouri statutes that allowed third-class cities like Carthage to choose a charter form of government where basically we could write our own constitution. And this, the council in late 1992 appointed a charter commission, and they first met on November the 11th of 1992. And I thank Amy in the office for digging in the dusty basement to find some of the minutes for me. She found minutes of the first 2 or 3 meetings of the Charter Commission, but was not able to find them all. There were 13 commissioners at the time, and I think only 4 or 5 of them, including Mrs. Bowyer, who is here tonight, who are still in Carthage, that were on that original Charter Commission. Mike Randall was the then city administrator, and he attended those meetings. After electing Jim Brock the chair and Tom Morrow vice chair, the first order of business was to discuss the type of government to establish, the strong mayor city council type that had been in place since Carthage became a city in 1873, or the newer city manager form. The minutes reflect that not one commissioner favored the city manager form, and it was not even considered. After discussion of charters used by other cities, it was agreed to use the Missouri Municipal League Model Charter as a guide. It should be noted that these were open meetings where citizen participation was encouraged. Now, the minutes after January the 18th of '93 could not be found, but the practice was to go through the proposed charter section by section for discussion and approval of the proposed changes. Now, a major change for Carthage was the elimination of the political party nomination of council members and officials in favor of the non-political sign-up system that we have now. For years, it had been the practice of the political parties to nominate candidates for most offices, including school board, municipal judge, police chief, and others. It is my recollection that as at the time the sitting chair of the Republican City Committee, I and the Democratic chair, who was Glenn Evans, I believe, were asked to testify and agreed to the proposed change as we were worn out from recruiting candidates year after year. As the remaining minutes could not be found, I'm uncertain about later discussions and the date the commission completed its work. But that must have been done in the summer of '93, as the election was held on November the 2nd of '93, when the charter was approved in a light turnout, but overwhelmingly in a vote of 573 to 90, 86% approval. I found the article about that in the Carthage Press yesterday down in the microfiche. This was a ringing endorsement of the strong mayor-council form of government, as I said earlier. Now, I'll admit that I was not exactly sure what a strong mayor-council form of government is, so I did a little research. Strong mayor basically means the mayor has the power to hire and fire department heads and has veto power.
Bill,
and
time's up.
yeah, I just got about 3 more sentences, if I might finish. In some places, the mayor is responsible for drafting and proposing the annual budget to the council, but we've given that responsibility to the city administrator. And that's all I have for tonight. I'll be back another time to talk more about our form of government and how it relates to citizen concerns over the past few months. Thank you.
Give me a call, Bill. I think I've got a bunch of that.
I'm sorry?
Give me a call later, and I think I've got a bunch of that original
Okay.
charter stuff in my office.
Hi, I'm Joel Terry, 2219 Allison. I need to apologize to you, Mr. Daly. You did not have a snarky tone in your voice when you answered my question. As I somewhat indicated in my repetition of your response, I added the snarky tone to emphasize, especially to you, how ridiculous your response was. I said the city's response to the state's inquiry was key word here, approximately 2,000 pages long. You said it wasn't 2,000, it was 1,900. Did you realize that 1,900 is 95% of 2,000? No?
No. I did not put that to math, no.
Okay, well, it is. And that, in my book, that fits in the realm of approximately. In other words, that tone was to indicate sarcasm. I realize there are some people that do not understand sarcasm, and apparently maybe you are one of them. But that's what I was. I was sarcastic. I was not snarky. I truly apologize for that. Mr. Putnam stole the rest of my speaking, so I'm done.
Hello, Council and Mr. Mayor. My name is Shay Gaddis. I live at 2054 East 15th Street. Some of you may know me and some of you may not, but what I'm about to say needs to be said. I want to take just a couple minutes to thank every one of you for everything that you do. I would like to start with Mrs. Allmendinger and work my way around. Mrs. Allmendinger, I want to say thank you for working so hard every day to get the golf course into amazing shape and giving it the work it deserved. I've seen so many improvements out there, such as the range in itself and the dog park that was put out there along with the playground. You're truly thinking of Carthage and the improvements that can be made to allow the citizens to enjoy the town. Mr. Carney, who is not here with us today, I would like to thank him and his department for working so hard to maintain the looks and feels of the city of Carthage. I thank him and his team for allowing Carthage to be an amazing and beautiful place to live in. Now, to all the council members, Mrs. Blair, Mrs. Heckmaster, Mr. Hull, Mr. Snow, Mr. Elliff, Mrs. Cossey, Mr. Dowley, Mr. Dagnan, Mrs. Inzer, Mr. Taylor, Mrs. Blankenship, Mr. Armstrong, Mrs. Cox, Mrs. Deal, and Mr. Mayor. I know your jobs are no easy task. I know you're constantly having to make decisions to better Carthage to allow people like me to live in a clean, entertaining, and amazing town. I know that as a kid born and raised in Carthage, Missouri, there have been many improvements made to this town to make it what it is today. A lot of sacrifice, hard work, and partnership was put into this town, and I would just like to say thank you to every single one of you for maintaining such an amazing town while also balancing the duties as a council member and mayor. Chief Hawkins and Chief Huntley, I want to say thank you for protecting the community of Carthage. You and the men and women that serve in the police and fire services make such a difference to our community every single day, which does not go unnoticed. You and your teams have made unimaginable sacrifices to keep the city of Carthage a safe and secure place. I cannot thank you enough for everything that you guys do. As we all know, no one is perfect, but when the spotlight is on you, the imperfections seem a little bigger. It's no secret there's quite a bit of tension in the town of Carthage right now. But for a second, I just wanted to take a step back and focus on the positive. I just wanted to thank every one of you for the amount of time and effort you put into the city of Carthage. It does not go unnoticed.
All right, we'll move on to reports of standing committees. Budget Ways and Means, Chairman Snow.
Thank you, Your Honor. Budget Ways and Means Committee met last Monday, a week ago yesterday, last Thursday in a special meeting at noon. We didn't have any business on the agenda except for a closed session, and you'll be hearing more about that closed session tonight in our closed session. Other than that, we had no other business to discuss. We will have our next meeting next month. Let me look and see what the date is.
The 8th.
It will be April 8th at 5:30 here in council chambers. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thanks, sir. Committee on Insurance Audit Claims, Chairperson Blair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Committee on Insurance Audits and Claims met this evening in council chambers. Ms. Cox reported that she moved $2 million to the Community National Bank for an APY of 5.25% to diversify our funds, and she was happy to be able to keep these funds local. We also discussed a letter that the committee received from Mr. Dagnan recommending that we add the Assistant City Administrator position to the code and make it an officer position. We're going to see a council bill regarding that at our next meeting, so we'll have more details then. That next meeting is scheduled for March 26th at 5:30 in council chambers.
All right, thank you. Public Safety Committee, Chairman Ellis.
Thank you, Your Honor. Public safety is between meetings. Our next meeting will be March the 25th instead of next Monday night, 5:30, due to it being spring break and scheduling conflicts. Thank you.
Public Services, Chairperson Hanser.
Thank you, Your Honor. Public Services met February 29th at 4:30 in council chambers. This was a special meeting. I am going to just read straight from our notes because there's a lot of good information in here. We heard from Lauren Osborne with Water's Edge. She provided a historical background on the pool, noting its construction in 1934 and a subsequent renovation in 1987. She emphasized that the facility had reached its end-of-life expectation and described its current condition as poor. Key issues highlighted included the water loss due to leaks, deterioration of the pool basin with unsound areas, lack of modern amenities, and an outdated bathhouse facility. She presented the findings of the recent online survey conducted from January 17th to February 5th. We received a total of 1,361 responses, which exceeded their expectations. Approximately 51% indicated that the current facility lacks amenities. 27.4% expressed dissatisfaction with its maintenance. 21.89% reported that it does not meet their household needs, and 20.54% stated they use facilities outside of Carthage. Overall satisfaction with the current facility was rated as average to poor. Notably, 91% of respondents expressed support for the development of a new outdoor aquatic center when asked. She shared insights from the survey regarding amenity preferences. Respondents were asked to select small, medium, and large to support the amenity interests of their household. 76% indicated toddler features, 52% indicated a climbing wall were of interest. Medium amenities, 88% expressed interest in water slides, and 61% marked their interest in a youth play structure. When surveyed about large amenities, 88% selected a lazy river current channel, 61% indicated zero depth beach entry as an interest. In terms of support amenities, 89% of respondents were interested in shade, 67% indicated that lounge and deck chairs were of interest. Ms. Osborne highlighted insights gathered from the survey regarding household program preferences. Respondents were asked to indicate programs of interest to their households. The top responses were birthday or private parties at 60%, recreational swimming at 52%, and swim lessons at 43%. Additionally, Ms. Osborne emphasized that respondents underscored the importance of incorporating fun features and amenities into the planning of a new aquatic center. She presented 2 concepts for a new aquatic facility. Each had different amenities with differing price ranges. After multiple discussions among committee members, it was decided to move forward with Water's Edge designing a pool not to exceed $15.5 million. Okay, that is the end of our notes. Now, I do want to, it's not included in the notes, but we did look at things as how many lifeguards it would take, and we did decide that neither one of the concepts was a perfect fit. So this has been sent back to the drawing board. We do have a resolution on the agenda to pursue this, but we are just in the beginning stages for this. Our next meeting is going to be on March 19th at 5:30 here in council chambers. Thank you, Your Honor.
All righty, thank you. Public Works, Chairman Armstrong.
Thank you, Your Honor. I've been a little under the weather and was not able to attend the meeting, so I'm going to let my vice chair give the report.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. The Public Works Committee met March 5th here in council chambers. We did discuss and accept a bid from JKS Construction for a box culvert at Forest Street. That, we voted to forward on to council. That is Council Bill 24-19. We were excited because we have not worked with JKS Construction, and so it was nice to have a new business. We don't solicit bids because then it could be taken that we are showing preference, so we use a bidding service, and it was exciting to see that a new construction company has utilized that bidding service and won the bid. We also considered the contract with Blevins Asphalt for fiscal year 2024 to 2025. That is Council Bill 2418. Their price is going to be $75.05 per ton, and that it does include the tack oil. We also surplused a 2008 Chevy Impala with the VIN number 2G1WB55K 28921-2002. This is bittersweet. This is the last Chevy Impala from 2008 that the city owns. So I almost feel like we should have some kind of a ceremony for the last 2008 Impala, because I know that there was a lot of them. You will see that as Resolution 2032. We also discussed a proposed lot split at 2535 Grand Avenue. That is on our agenda tonight as Resolution 2033. And then the last thing that we did, we considered and discussed the solid waste contract. And we have the opportunity, when this contract was first negotiated, it was very smart to put in there a limit of how much they could bump it up per year. And we have our contract negotiated, I think it's like 3.5% is the maximum that they can raise our rates every year. Traditionally, they're raising 5% or better, but our contract protects us from that. If we would bid that contract out, there's a chance that we could lose that. So at this time, we do have the opportunity to do a 5-year extension on it. So at this time, I would like to make a motion that we allow pursuing the 5-year extension on the solid waste contract.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve a 5-year extension on the current solid waste contract. Any discussion? Mr. Snow?
This is the contract with Republic.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And then we did hear staff reports from Zeb, and we did hear staff reports from Greg Dagnett. Our next meeting
Next Tuesday.
will be, next Tuesday at 5:30 here in council chambers.
All right. All right. We'll move on to report of special committees and board liaisons. Mr. Ellis?
Thank you, Your Honor. Several items. McCune-Briggs Hospital Trust met February 28th. There was no action taken at that meeting. The financials of the hospital trust are included in tonight's packet. Planning, Zoning, Historic Preservation did not meet because there was a lack of business. Their next meeting is scheduled for April 1st here in council chambers, and attended several of the county commission meetings, but nothing really to report that would affect the council or the city. So that's all I have. Thank you.
No.
I would like to report on the Carthage Water and Electric Salary Study Committee. We did cancel our meeting for today, but we did get a message from Lockton. They have received 25 responses, and they still have a few more that they are expecting to receive, so we've gotten really good response on that. We should still be on track to have our final report in April. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the library board met tonight at 5:15 in the library boardroom. They discussed that they had recently celebrated Dr. Seuss's birthday with a book giveaway for children and teens. That was held on the 2nd of March. They had a steady crowd, and it was just a really good turnout for that. They also employ a translator for 4 hours a day, so their translator has been very busy with working with those who do not speak English. They are also expanding the offerings at the Studley Family Legacy Center. Libraries traditionally have been just books, but to stay more progressive, more cutting edge, and to meet the needs of the community, they have started offering more things through the Studley Family Legacy Center. So they also have a wait for things like garden tools, and they have just gotten a table saw in. So they had a lady come use the table saw for the first time last Saturday. They are also looking at, it's not finalized yet, but they will be considering partnering with the Red Cross to schedule some blood drives. I guess the blood drives have not been producing as much lately, and so they're looking for new places to partner with. And so they're looking at partnering with the library to hold some blood drives. And they are kicking off their summer plans. And then for the Excel High School Diploma Program, they have 6 active students enrolled currently. And I believe that's all I have for you tonight, Your Honor. Thank you.
Your Honor, if I could amend my report somewhat, I said that McKean Briggs Trust, there was no action for the council to be taken. They did have a request, but they did deny that. But no action for the council to take. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Mayor's report, I don't have a lot to report this week. I've been in and out, hit and miss with loss in my family, so I've kind of been all over the place. We'll move on to report or remarks of council members.
I think I've said plenty tonight, Your Honor.
I'm good.
Nothing this evening.
Public Works meeting will be on April 2nd, Election Day.
All right.
Nothing this evening.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
No, sir. Thank you, Your Honor. I did attend the Public Services Committee meeting 2 weeks ago with the pool concept presentation, and I was very impressed with the concept for the pool. I know there's been a lot of discussion about a regional water park concept. The concepts that we saw did not include a concept for a regional water park. One of the things that I did express my concern with, and I don't believe we would see going forward, is I did not support a lazy river, and I believe the plan is to take that out of the concept. There is a water slide, and there's swim lanes, and there's a splash pad, and so I believe we're going to get a pool that everyone will be able to enjoy. Hopefully with taking out the lazy river and some of the other things that were shown in the original concept, we're probably not going to hit that $15 million price tag. But I believe that we're going to have a pool that will be a very suitable pool for our community and be able to be used by everyone in the community. Zero entry, the swim lanes will have multiple uses with 4-foot entry on one end to a 13-foot diving end on the other. We're going to still have the high dive, which not very many pools in the area have a high dive still, but they showed a high dive. They showed 3 diving boards in the concept. I think we have a pool that we're going to be very proud of, and it is going to be in the same location. The bathhouse is going to be renovated and maintained, so I think that this pool concept moving forward is a good plan, and I think we should all support it. So we'll discuss it more when we come to that item on our agenda, but I just wanted to say that I very much liked the pool concepts, and it is not a regional water park. I don't believe we need one. I believe we need a pool that all the citizens can enjoy. Thank you, Your Honor.
All righty, good, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, tonight in the packet, we have Resolution 2031, and this, reported on this at the last council meeting. This is tied in with the MoDOT traffic enforcement application, and it also went through CIAC. So it is being presented tonight as a resolution. Thank you.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
All right. Move on to administrative reports. Mr. Galley.
Nothing tonight, sir.
Dawkins.
I'm sure it's already been taken care of, but just to clarify, I do need signatures on that ODOT thing.
Yes.
Right here. I'll
Good. Thank you. Nothing else.
probably pass it around when we mess with the closed session.
Thank you.
Chief Huntley.
No report tonight, Your Honor.
Ms. Allendale.
Good evening. Thank you, Your Honor. I am finally happy to report that all of the bathrooms at Carter Municipal, Griggs, and Kellogg are all open finally after many delays. We also invite everyone to attend the ribbon cutting for Rock Stadium renovations at 4 o'clock on Wednesday, March 27th, just prior to the first boys varsity baseball game. We are still working on the dog park finishing touches, and you'll see that as in your packet later on in the meeting. And then Little League registrations are still open until March the 22nd for ages 9 through 16 if you'd like to have your child come out and play baseball this season. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Cox.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to start out by making Allen's Day with marijuana tax. It did drop this time from, we had been collecting approximately $15,000, and this month the marijuana tax that we received was $9,426. So also the sales tax revenues were up this month compared to the same month last year. We received $261,727. And year-to-date sales tax revenues are $2,313,919. And that is approximately $10,000 under our projected year-to-date revenues for the sales tax. If you recall, the sales tax revenues, we actually increased those approximately 13%. So we're pretty close to being on target with that, with our projections. Year-to-date use tax revenues are $134,944. Over the current fiscal year projections, we've already received $1,088,920. So we are over budget on our use tax revenues, and so that's a good thing when we're over budget on the revenues. Also, I'd like to say that we have started using our new ClearGov software. Capital requests have been submitted through the software. It has definitely helped streamline the process. It is very user-friendly, and some of the highlights of the software include the ability to sort the data. You can sort it all different ways. You can sort it by fund, department. All of the capital requests were submitted last night, was the cutoff, and so I ran a report this morning, and the report was easy to run, and it didn't take any time. So current capital request, keep in mind this is the original request, which they're always high, and we will definitely probably have to make some cuts, but the current request stands at $16.7 million for the current fiscal year, and some of that does include grants, so they'll be offset by revenue, so we don't have to, cut everything, but we will have to whittle away at that number. And that's all I have tonight, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to report of claims against the state.
The Committee on Claims filed a report in the amount of $4,241,077.26.
I make a motion to accept the report and allow the claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the report and allow the claims. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to old business.
Second reading of Council Bill 24-14, the ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Elements Construction Concepts of Joplin, Missouri for restroom facilities for city parks, Phase 2, in the amount of $230,340 in the city of Carthage, Missouri.
Any discussion? Cast your vote.
I don't have it. You don't have it?
Me either.
I don't either.
Nobody has it?
I got it.
You got it?
I got it.
Just the
We had the same problem last time. It's not you, Amy.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, so all aye?
I heard you.
Okay.
I didn't have my skirt on today.
And we have been in contact with Clearville, so hopefully we will get this straightened out.
I'm trying to mark them all in. Yeah,
It's civic-
it's
civic clerk,
civic
sorry.
clerk, yeah.
Council Bill passed.
Okay. Second reading of Council Bill 24-15, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Elements Construction Concepts of Joplin, Missouri for dog park sidewalks at Municipal Park for the amount of $43,460 in the city of Carthage, Missouri.
Any discussion? Cast your vote.
Second reading of Council Bill 24-16, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Carthage Youth Softball League for a non-exclusive use of the softball fields at Fair Acres Sports Complex during the summer of 2024 in the city of Carthage, Missouri.
Any discussion? Cast your vote.
Go back. I went back to the main page and it got to this time.
To refresh.
No, I just went to the back button where you go to the agenda and the packet, and then it came up. Just try it. Try it next time.
Second reading of Council Bill 24-17, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a lease purchase agreement with Bank of America for a Ferrera heavy-duty fire engine in the city of Carthage, Missouri.
Any discussion? Mr. Armstrong?
What color will it be?
Don't start
Yellow.
that. I'm not gonna be the one to change it. Gonna be yellow.
Cast your vote.
Hey, I'm there. Look
So
at
you just
that.
went back.
I just pushed the packet.
and then back to the packet.
I didn't go back to the packet.
Since it's the last vote, I'm just gonna do
Terry, did you get it? Okay.
Council Bill passed. We'll move on to new business.
First reading of Council Bill 24-18, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract extension with Blevins Asphalt Construction Company Incorporated for the annual asphalt paving contract for fiscal year 2024 to 2025, 75.05 cents per ton of asphalt to include tack oil in the city of Carthage, Missouri.
Any discussion?
I just have a question. So when we say that's the annual asphalt paving contract, what projects will we be paving?
They, On the budget, they have a list of roads every year that are up for, on their rotation. And it's basically the same amount of.
Yeah, so several years ago, we did a LiDAR study of all the streets in town to identify which ones were most in need of repair. And then we keep a running list of sort of what is up next for the worst streets in town and try to hit as many of those as possible.
Thank you.
Everybody has to make adjustments because of Aspire working in tandem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been.
If you'd like to be able to do this.
I would also like to add that this is several years now that we've had this contract with Blevins, and we contract for a certain amount of asphalt. We don't actually contract by blocks or, so occasionally we'll contract for, I'll just use an example, 100,000 pounds of asphalt. We pave the first streets that are identified, and we still have asphalt left over, so we add some more streets or add a few blocks on a street. So this is actually very beneficial because we don't tie ourselves to a certain number of blocks or certain streets to be contracted.
Yeah.
We use the asphalt that we contract the best that we can. So it's actually worked very well. Do you know, Dave, how many years we've had this contract?
With Blevins.
7, 8 years?
7 or 8 years now.
Yeah,
At
so
least.
it's actually very beneficial because we do the ones that we identify as most in need now. Then we come back and say, hey, we can do 2 more blocks in this neighborhood. Blevins goes and does that, and they don't charge us by the block. So,
We pay as much as we can with that amount that we purchase that way. So if it's narrower streets or thinner overlay, then you can get more. Yeah, it works well.
And how often, so this just kind of leads to another question then, how often do we reassess the order of importance? Because as Ms. Cox mentioned, Spire has been doing some work, and they're responsible, I think, for repairing it, but it hasn't always been awesome work.
The LiDAR studies have been good for 5 years. And so every 5 years we'll reassess sort of where we are and what we've accomplished. And then we'll go back and readjust the list every year based on need.
Thank
So
you.
it's a living document, like it's a living list. It's trying to react to what's really going on in town.
Thank you.
so since Mr. Armstrong's having a little difficulty with tonight, I'll explain. The LiDAR is a machine that they take over the street that shoots
It's
sound waves,
ground-penetrating radar.
ground penetrating radar to determine whether what you see on top is actually what's underneath. So it helps to identify those streets that may need a thicker mill or not, how many layers it has in it currently. So it's not necessarily the streets that look worse on top, but maybe the ones that look worse underneath the street. And so that's how we use the LiDAR to determine the priorities.
Your Honor, I'll also add that in our meeting, we did look at how cost-effective it was, and it was determined that it is more cost-effective to have Blevins do this than it is to buy the asphalt from them and then use our guys to do it. And then I will throw in that they also then cover things like when Grand got asphalt and then something came and messed it up before it was totally cured, and they ripped it out and did it again. So it is a beneficial contract for the city.
Good relationship.
Yeah.
That's good. All right.
First reading of Council Bill 24-19, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with JKS Construction Incorporated of Girard, Kansas for a box culvert replacement on Forest Street in the amount of $135,602.60 in the city of Carthage, Missouri.
Any discussion? All right.
First reading of Council Bill 24-20, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract to sell real estate owned by the city of Carthage at Airport Drive and Missouri Avenue to Jaime Alvera for $35,000 in the city of Carthage, Missouri. Resolution 2030, a resolution to pursue grant funding for construction of a new pool facility in the city of Carthage, Missouri.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt Resolution 2030.
Could I ask a question before we do that?
Okay.
Just in considering what some of the constituents brought up tonight, and also what you shared, Mr. Snow, about your comfort level with the proposal, is it typical to do the grant funding before we do have other studies, or did the proposal include like feasibility and that type of thing?
Well, I think that, I can respond to that. We need to get a grant application to McCune Brooks to determine the funding level. That will help determine the concepts, because we can always cut depending on how much funding we can get from McCune Brooks. So it is kind of a cart before the horse, perhaps, but at the same time, we can always cut back to determine what that total cost will be.
Would we have a better shot of getting that funding if we had more support of the plan that we have in mind? I don't know, I'm just asking.
I will make note that this could be the last year it could be open in the condition that it's in, as a very good possibility. So something needs to be started or looked into to get a start of something going before we have no pool.
I want to make sure.
I mean, that's
we
a
have pool.
possibility.
That's not the consideration here.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would
Okay.
be forward
I
to
would
see
say-
where we need to go otherwise. So,
I would second Ms. Enzer's motion.
all right, have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 2030. Any further discussion, Mr. Armstrong?
And I'll just say to Ms. Blair, you know, this is the fourth time we've talked about the pool in my time on city council, so about every 2 years, we sort of go through this whole motion again. And that for various reasons, it stops and starts. So we've tried it other ways. This is just another way to try it. I don't think that there's a wrong way to do it. This is the way we're gonna try this time.
Thank you.
Mr. Snow?
I would also like to add, based on, and help me, the name of the company that presented the concepts, the plan is to shut the pool, our current pool, have design and everything complete, shut our current pool in August, and have our new pool completely constructed and ready for next year. So we're on a kind of a short timeline also. So we can't approve designs, we have to start designs now in order to meet all those deadlines. And so it may appear that we're doing the cart before the horse, but I believe that we need to start requesting grant money from McCune Brooks, determine what McCune Brooks's level of funding that they can provide before we go through with total design or complete design.
All right, got a motion and a second. Any further?
And I will reiterate that I will not support any pool designs that include a lazy river. If anyone wants to be lazy, they can go out on Center Creek.
Yes, so just for clarification, and this is clarification of what I'm reading, this is an approval to pursue grant funding, not an approval of the pool or any concept, right? And the resolution does mention specifically looking at McCune Brooks. I assume that we will be looking at other grants as well. My concern with McCune Brooks is looking at the asset balance. It's roughly $18 million, and then when we look at what's already committed, that's another more than $3 million. So if we were to approve a pool concept that was in the $15 million range, I mean, that completely depletes that trust. And that concerns me because, I mean, that's more or less designated for the Carthage and the area. And you know, I just want to make sure that we're spending that money on something that we really need, not something that we want. And I do agree that we need to fix, we have a problem with the current pools, and we do need some kind of resolution there. I just want to make sure that we're clear that this is not an approval now of a pool or a specific concept. It's just the permission to go out and pursue the grant funding, which I'm fine with.
Totally. All right. Any further? Okay, President.
What is it? Oh, I casted mine.
Oh, no, it worked.
Oh, yeah, I just hit the
Little
back
early
button.
trick.
Hit the back button. It worked.
For a minute. It's backing in.
I was like, huh?
Resolution stamped adopted.
Resolution 2031, a resolution of the City of Carthage, Missouri, authorizing the Police Department to write and accept a grant from MoDOT for the cost of additional traffic details in the City of Carthage, Missouri.
Mr. Ella.
Your Honor, I move we adopt Resolution 2031.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 2031. Any discussion? Okay, President.
Resolution 2032, a resolution approving the declaration as surplus to the city's needs and authorizing the disposition of certain Public Works Department equipment.
Mr. Armstrong.
Your Honor, I motion that we adopt Resolution 2032.
A second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 2032. Any discussion? Okay, President.
Resolution 2033, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Carthage approving a recommendation of the Public Works Committee granting an administrative lot split for property located at the northwest corner of George E. Phelps Boulevard and South Grand Avenue in the City of Carthage, Missouri.
Your Honor, I move that we adopt Resolution 2033.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 2033. Any discussion? Mr. Armstrong.
I'll just say this is for a coffee shop.
Anything further? Okay, President.
Thank you, Your Honor. I know I've talked about the pool a couple times already this evening. The pool that we have is in such need of repair. To dig that pool out, we're gonna have to replace it. So we need to come up with a plan to put a new pool in. Again, I hope that we can come to a design that's going to be beneficial to everyone. The one that they showed us has zero entry where you can walk in. If you need to go in with a wheelchair, zero entry means you walk in just like you're walking in the ocean at the beach. It has areas for small children. It has play area and areas for everybody. So hopefully, when we get the concept and get everything done, McCune Brooks can find the money that we need to build this. Ms. Cossey expressed concern with depleting McCune Brooks Fund. When the city voted to sell the hospital and set up the McCune Brooks Trust Fund, it was never intended to be an ongoing funding source. As long as I've been on council, we have funded some things like refrigerators and cook stove and computers and parking lots. I think to get one major project out of the McCune Brooks Fund, and I'm not saying that the projects that we just did, the playgrounds, the restrooms at the parks are not nice, good projects. I'm saying we need one cornerstone project to deplete that fund that the city can use for years to come. That's all, Your Honor. Thank you.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor. Thank you.
Just a couple things. So first, I want to say that I hope Mr. Armstrong is feeling better. He looks pretty miserable. So I hope you're feeling better than you have been. And then also related to the pool, I do understand that the McCune Brooks Trust, it was never meant to be, a continuous trust. But on the other hand, I also don't know that just because we have it, we need to go out and spend it. I think that, we have this sum of money, so we need to spend it judiciously on the things that we need. And just to be clear, I do absolutely think that we need a new pool. The pool that we have has a significant ongoing leak, and it's at a place that we can't access it. And so, I spoke to several of you. Several of you called me about the agenda item of the pool, and I expressed that I didn't support what was in the packet. It looked pretty massive, and it looked similar to what we had in Lamar and what Joplin had done at Schifferdecker, which I don't think is what we need. And those types of projects bleed money. But something like what Mr. Snow had described, the zero entry, I think that's reasonable. The swimming lanes, the diving. So we are definitely going to have to do something. And so, I'm interested to see what grant funding we can get and what kind of a prudent project that we can fund. So I'm looking forward to moving forward on this so that maybe we'll have something that doesn't have ice cold water because it's continuously pumping new water through. And that's it for me today.
All righty, thank you.
Your Honor, I will just add one thing about that I didn't give in my report, one thing about the pool. We did have a representative from the YMCA here, and she was able to consult with us because we do contract with them for the lifeguarding and management of the pool. She was able to consult with us about how many lifeguards it would take for the different designs. And so we did send them back to the drawing board to say, asking for fewer lifeguards. If we did the Lazy River, it would take 3 lifeguards to man that. If we did the water slide configuration they had, I believe it would take 6 lifeguards because you had to have 1 at the top of every slide, 1 at the bottom. So we've asked them to consolidate that to where maybe 2 slides with entries together, exits together, so we can use 2 lifeguards to man that station instead. So she did take note of the things that we were asking for, and we'll be making those things. I do have a question for Mr. Snow. You're against the Lazy River. How did you feel about the toilet bowl?
Yeah.
The toilet bowl slide.
I don't think it's necessary
Me either.
either.
I
Me
agree.
neither.
No.
That's all I have tonight, Your Honor.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Well, I'm in support of a new pool. I have a niece that's a quadriplegic, and this will be 100% ADA accessible. And I think our community needs that as well if we do get a new
Definitely.
facility. So.
All right, Mr. Armstrong.
Yeah, one of the things that I have been most proud of on city council has been our partnership with the school district as our sister political entity representing Carthage. The city has always gone out of its way to help provide facilities at a low cost. Whenever the school district was in danger of losing its ability to host golf tournaments for the high school kids whenever the driving range was not available, the city stepped up. We purchased the driving range, we refurbished it, we made sure that Carthage High School was taken care of and that the kids in our community could play competitive golf for the state level. you know, I think that that's important. If a pool helps the high school, I think that should be something that we should consider in the design, because I think that we represent the citizens of Carthage, which include the kids of Carthage, and making sure that they have the ability to participate in as much as possible is always going to be something that I value, number one.
Here, here.
Nothing tonight, thank you. I too believe that we need a new pool. I also believe that we need to be financially responsible. That's all. Thank you.
Nothing tonight, sir.
Do you have something you need to read? No, closed session. Oh, you want me to do it? Yeah, you're the last one.
I'd like to make a motion that we go into closed session according to section 610.021. Part 1, the agenda includes the possibility of a vote to close part of the meeting to discuss legal actions, causes of action for litigation involving a public governmental body or its representatives and its attorneys. And also, according to section 610.021, part 2, the agenda includes the possibility of a vote to close part of the meeting to discuss leasing, purchase, or sale of real estate by a public governmental body where public knowledge of the transaction might adversely affect the legal consideration therefore.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to go into closed session and outlined by Mr. Cole. All in favor? Cast your vote.
What, left you out this time?
Yeah, I can't get it.
You got me this time.
All right, motion carried. Thank you all.
Do we want to check the door and make sure nobody's trying to get back in?
I doubt that there are at this point, but we want to make sure that.
wants Tammy's posters?
Oh, not me.
Oh, I forgot about the posters.
Are we good? Yeah. Okay.
Zeb wasn't here, so I can volunteer him.
I am signing the agreement with MoDOT.
All right.
I just didn't want to do anything in closed session that might be considered uncouth.
We already approved it.
I agree.
I was like, didn't we already approve it?
It's not that different than signing it after we close the meeting.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion is second to adjourn. All in favor, say